YouTube, my name is Renee. Welcome to my channel. Okay, today I'm going to be doing a story time for you guys. But before I get into this story time, I'm going to say this. I am not a fighter, so don't think that this is something that I do, because I don't. This is just something that happened a long time ago when I was a kid, and it just led to this. Okay, so we're fixing to get into the story time. When this fight happened, or when all of this stuff happened, I would have been in the 6th grade. Yep. And okay, so where can I start with this? It's going to be a long video. Where can I start? Okay. Well, at the time, I lived in Baton Rouge, and I went to this school called Baker Middle. And this school, I was in the magnet program. The magnet program is for kids who are at a higher level. It's like advanced classes, pretty much. But I took a test, and I tested to get into this magnet program. And I got into the magnet program. Well, I would say I started going to that school around it was about the 2nd semester. I started going there, and I had PE. Like, my elective classes were with other kids, like, kids from different grade levels, kids from different classes, kids from magnet classes, or kids from regular classes. I was in a PE class mixed, pretty much. Well, there were these 2 girls in my PE class. We will call them Rachel and Stephanie. Okay, so Rachel was white and Stephanie was black. They hung out together in my PE class. Well, I was new, so I had met them, and they started talking to me, and they were just asking me my name, and Stephanie said, "Well, what's your name?" And I said, "My name is Renee." And she's like, "Well, that's a ghetto name." I was like, "No, it's not." And I was just like, why would you think that my name is ghetto, Renee? That doesn't sound like a ghetto name. I mean, I don't know what you call ghetto, but I don't think so. Well, so, we became friends. We talked, and I met a lot of people through Rachel. A lot of the people that are going to be in this story time, I met them through her. And I met some other kids that lived in my block, that lived right around the corner from where I lived, because I did not live far from the school. I lived within walking distance of the school. It took me about 10 to 15 minutes to walk to the school. My dad would usually drop me off in the mornings, and sometimes he could come pick me up. It depends on what time he got off work, but if he couldn't come get me, most of the time I'd walk home from school. I was in the 6th grade, so I had a whistle around my neck. They had to make sure I was safe walking home. Well, the main girl in this story, we will call her, what will we call her? We will call her Kayla. Okay, yes, we'll call her Kayla. Okay, so Kayla lived right around the corner from me, and my brother played with her brother, and that's how I met her. And we were in the same grade. She was in regular classes while I was in magnet classes. So I was like, okay. So we became friends. We were friends for about a month or 2, and sometimes they would come over. I never went over there. They hardly went over here, but my brother and her brother were two best friends, so they would go back and forth to each other's house. Well, okay, so at school, I had this little boyfriend. That's another story time. I'm not going to get into the breakdown of all of that. But, once we, broke up, because, we're kids. After that little breakup or whatever, there was this guy. We will call him, what would we call him? We will call him Josh. We'll call him Josh. Okay, so Josh, I think I met him in the lunchroom. I'm not sure when I met him. This was a long time ago. Well, me and Josh were friends. And Josh would walk me to class. And he would sometimes carry my backpack for me. But I told him not to because I don't want people to think like, oh, he's carrying her backpack. They must be dating or something like that because, kids are really messy and they're really mean. But I just remember, like, he would walk me to class and everything. He was in a grade higher than me. So if I was in the 6th grade, he would have been in the 7th grade. And I remember that one of Kayla's friends saw me and Josh walking in the hall. So I was hearing around school, well, not around school, but I was hearing from different people, oh, you were with Kayla's ex-boyfriend. And I'm like, who is Kayla's ex-boyfriend? Who is that? Because I'm not with anyone. I am by myself. I'm solo. I'm single. So they were like, Josh, that's Kayla's ex-boyfriend. And I was like, okay, but there's nothing going on there. We're just friends. He walks me to class. And they were like, well, he carries your backpack and, he's been walking you to class every day. And I was like, that does not mean anything. So, well, the word got back around to Kayla. And Kayla came to me and she's like, that's my ex. I really need you to stop talking to him. We're still working on things. We're still working on getting back together. And I was like, there's nothing going on here, Kayla. Like, there's nothing going on here. So, sorry. So, that was that. And then, fast forward, later on, about a couple weeks later, in PE class, Stephanie and Rachel were coming up to me with all kinds of crap, and I was like, whoa, hold up, wait a minute. What is all this? And they said, well, you're with Kayla's boyfriend, and she doesn't like it, and we're just coming at me really crazy, coming at me real stupid. It really made me mad. So I'm like, whoa, hold up a minute. Like I said, like I keep saying, like I'm going to keep saying, there is nothing going on between me and Kayla's ex-boyfriend, or boyfriend, whatever you want to call him. So they were like, okay, but she told me to tell you. And I was like, well, if she wants to tell me something, she should come and tell me herself. And they took that the wrong way. And so they started bringing other girls into this. And their friends, and then, they were all in the same friend circle, or they were all in the same circle. Stephanie and Rachel started bringing other girls into this, and then Kayla started getting some more of her friends, and, friends inside the circle, outside the circle, whatever you want to call it. She was bringing more people into this, and so it was turning out to be a full-on, war. And it was just me by myself. I had friends that had my back. I had really good friends that had my back because I wasn't in the wrong. And when I would try to explain to my friends, they understood. Like, yes, we see what's going on. We take classes with you. We see all of this. And my best friend, we will call her we will call her Pretty. I know that's a weird name, but we're gonna call her Pretty. And I'm gonna call her Pretty because she was very pretty to me. She had very long curly hair and she was very pretty to me. So we're just gonna call her Pretty. Well, Pretty was like, okay, Renee, I'm not gonna let nobody hurt you or put their hands on you. You need me, I'm here. It's okay, it's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be fine. So I was like, okay. So, I was trying to avoid the situation because I didn't want it to escalate into nothing physical, which is exactly what it's going to lead into. But I remember that in PE, there were some 7th grade girls coming at me, and then I was in the locker room changing, getting ready for PE class. And I just remember these girls coming up to me like, yeah, that's her right there. Yeah, that's her. And they were pointing at me. They didn't come up to me, but they were over there, like, they were on the other bench changing their clothes too. And they were like, yeah, that's her. That's the one that Kayla was talking about. Yeah, that's her. That's the ones that Rachel and Stephanie were talking about. And I'm like, what? Like, what is going on now? So I knew what was fixing to happen. So they come up to me after they get done changing their clothes, and after I get done changing my clothes, like, they waited for me to get done changing. And then when they come up to me, I see Stephanie and Rachel come in, and it's like, then I see some more girls behind them come in, some of the 7th grade girls that had a different PE teacher, but we were all in the same class, but there was like 2 PE teachers. There was one for one side and one for the other. Well, they left their class to come to ours into the dressing room, which we all had to share the dressing room. We all had to change in there. But they left their class. Their class had already started. They were supposed to be sitting down in roll call line, getting counted for being here, but they weren't with their class. They were in the dressing room. So I just remember seeing some of those girls, and I was like, okay, what is going on? Like, am I about to get jumped? Because, I can't fight. I've never been into a fight. I don't know. So we're in the locker room or whatever, and I just hear coming from each way, and I'm pretty much I'm in the middle, and they're making a circle around me. I was really more mad than scared. I was worried, like, what if they jump me in here? But I wasn't too much worried about that. I was mad. I was getting mad because I was like, wait a minute. People are coming at me, and I didn't do nothing wrong, and this is getting out of hand, and it was aggravating. It was so aggravating. So I was just like, whoa. So, so now we're getting to the point where they're screaming, and I'm saying stuff back, and I'm like, da, 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 hey, you better get on my face, da, 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 da. So we're just going back and forth, and I'm just going back and forth with these girls, and I'm sitting here trying to explain, like, there is nothing going on. And Kayla was not in this PE class. I think I said that, but she wasn't in this PE class. So it was just her friends, Stephanie and Rachel's friends, and they were all in one PE class. There was some other girls they had a very big circle. There was some other girls that was not in that PE class, but they will come in a little bit later. So, so it's getting real out of hand. Everybody's getting mad. Everybody's fussing and cussing and fighting. So I'm just like, wow. And they're all coming at me. Well, I guess my PE teacher heard what was going on, and she came in there blowing her whistle. And I'm like, what that whistle gonna do? You need to get in here and actually make them go sit down somewhere. So she's blowing the whistle, beep, 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 beep. And that wasn't working. So she was like, all right, I'm sending the principal in here. And the principal was actually right there. He was actually right there well, it was a she. She was like actually right there by the gym door. So they heard that and they said, "Oh, gotta go." Sorry. So when everybody left, I'm just like mad. I'm really mad. I don't even want to participate in PE anymore. I just really just want to sit there because I'm so upset. Like, I'm very upset. I'm very mad. And, you know, she was like, "What's going on? Like, what's going on?" I said, "I don't know. These girls are just coming up to me, screaming and yelling at me and cussing at me. I don't know what's going on. It's over some stupid mess that I should not be involved in." And she said, "Well, if this happens again, y'all are going to have to go to the office because this can't happen in my class. I have a class to teach, and this is causing a disruption." She was talking to all of us, but I was in there. Some of the girls from the other class, well, all of the girls from the other class ran back. And so it was just me, Stephanie, Rachel, and then like 2 other girls. So she was talking to us. And I just remember, after that, we go outside, we sit down, class has already started, and that was that. So after PE class, the next day, we were in the lunchroom. I was sitting with my friends, and these girls are throwing food at me. Some of these are the girls from the PE class, and there's some new girls too from the class they were in that they were sitting with at lunch. So they're throwing food at me, and I'm like, they weren't like throwing food like a food fight, but they were like just picking up like grape and throw it or something like that, or a french fry and just throw it. And my friends turn around and they're looking at her. Well, Pretty was one of those friends, and Pretty was looking at her like, "Wait, what? You throwing food at my friend?" Like, she was the friend that went hard for me, and I ain't gonna lie, I love her to death because she was one of those friends that would not let nothing happen to me. And those girls, like when Pretty, she was tall. Pretty was very tall. Pretty was like real taller than me. And, you know, Pretty tied that long hair back, and she got up and she's like, "Do y'all have a problem? Because, I mean, we can handle this. You know, if we can handle it in here, we can go out there." You know, Pretty was hood. Pretty was going to ride for me. So I was like, wow, Pretty got my back. So after that, they kind of settled down. They was like, "Oh, we don't want none of Pretty. You know, she real tall. We don't want none of Pretty's hands." So that day, I'm sitting in class, and it's the end of the day. We're fixing to go home, and I get my phone out, and I'm recording these girls talking. Like, I hear what they're talking. They're talking loud and clear. Our teacher had left the class for a moment to go make copies for our homework. So I was in math class, and she was making copies for our homework. And I hear these girls talking. They're talking real loud, and they're talking loud on purpose so that I can hear them. So I get my phone, and I'm recording their conversation because it's about me. And I hear my name. Like, I know exactly what they're talking about. So they're like, "Oh, she recording you." You know, a boy had said that. He was cool with them, and he knew what was going on. And he was like, "She's recording y'all." And he was like, "I don't give a F." I hear that across the room. "I don't give a F." I'm like, okay. So after teacher comes back with the copies, they stop talking. She passes out our homework, and we get up, we get ready to go, and I hear them coming behind me, and I get pushed, and I'm like, hold up a minute, who just pushed me? I didn't know which one pushed me, so I couldn't do nothing about it. I couldn't tell, I didn't know who pushed me, because there was so many girls behind me. I just know one pushed me, and she pushed me hard like she was a man. Well, they all look like men anyway, so probably was. But I remember, well, no, we wasn't going home, but we were going to our next class, and they were in the magnet program too. So I go to my next class or whatever, and me and this girl, we're getting into it, and this is one of Kayla's friends, and I'm like, girl, like, none of this has nothing to do with you. This you're gonna get yourself in trouble behind your friend that is making a big deal out of nothing. And now I was telling her this, like, you're getting yourself into mess behind your friend. Like, your friend's in the wrong, first of all. I have not done nothing to her. Like, y'all are coming at me and I ain't done nothing. So I'm explaining this to her and she's not getting it. You know, she doesn't care what I gotta say. She said what she has to say. The teacher, she was real cool with me. She liked me. But she said, I'm going to need you to go to the principal's office. I'm going to need you to go to TOR. And she told me to go to TOR. TOR is timeout room. But she was telling us that for a reason. She said, I want you to go to the principal's office first. She was talking to the other girl that I was getting into it with. And she's like, I'm going to need you to go. You go first. You stay. You leave first. So, the principal's office was straight down the hall. Like, you go out of our class, you go straight down the hall, and then the door is right there. So, she stood at the end of the hall and watched her actually go in there. And she walked down there. Like, she waited, but she walked down there to make sure she was actually in there. Well, when she knew for sure that the girl was in the class, she told me to go to RTR. She's like, I'm telling you this because there are other girls in here, and I don't need anything else happening. She said, we only have 20 minutes of class left. Just go. I heard everything. I'm going to explain it all to the principal later. I just need you to go. And I was like, yes, ma'am. Which, I mean, I don't understand why I couldn't stay in the class. But if she had to kick her out, she had to kick me out too. It was no favoritism. So, you know, because kids will say, oh, well, she kicked her out and they were both arguing with each other, so she had to kick us both out. So I went to TOR. I went in there and I signed my name. The lady told me to sign my name on this clipboard. And that's what I did. So I'm sitting there and this kid sitting in front of me, he rolls this paper acting like it's a cigarette or something. He's like, hey, you want a hit of this? And I'm like, I'm good. Like, I don't know. There was crazy kids in that class. Well, so I'm looking around this class. Well, it's not a class. It's TOR. It's the detention room for kids who were bad. So I'm sitting in this classroom, and some kids are just doing their work on, doing their work, or they're reading a book, or, some kids are just sitting there, or they're sitting there whispering. You couldn't really talk, so you had to whisper, and if you did whisper, you had to sneak and do it because the lady wasn't going to let you. So I turn around, and I see Kayla, and she had just got her hair done, and her hair was done, braided to the side. It was real long in the head, and the ends of her hair were curled. It was very pretty. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to hate. Her hair was very nice. Whoever did it did a good job. But I saw Kayla, and she turned around and looked at me. And at first, when I first came in the classroom, I didn't see her. But her desk wasn't like everyone else's. Her desk was turned facing to the wall. Ours was just turned facing the woman. Hers was turned the opposite way. So, she turns around and looks at me. And when I turn around, I see her looking right at me. And then she's like, you got a problem? And I said, yes, I do have a problem, actually. I said, you got me into all this mess, and I don't know what all this is about. Now I'm sitting in here when I can be in class, learning and doing my work. And she's like, I ain't get you into nothing. I ain't done nothing to you. And I was like, girl, you know exactly what you did. So we're going back and forth. And the lady, she says, shh. Your next destination is the principal's office. So I was like, okay, I'm quiet. So she says, so we're still going at it. And she's like, you know what? After school, you meet me at my house. And I said, no. Better yet, you come to mine. So I didn't think that she was actually, oh, hey, buddy. It's my dog. Hey, Bear. Okay, get down, Bear.
Okay, I got him.
Okay, so I tell my dad what's going on, and he comes and picks me up from school. I tell him what's going on, and Bear, calm down.
How about you get up and out there?
Please get Bear. I'm doing a story time. Please get him. So, sorry, that's my little brother. So, I tell my dad what's going on and everything, and he's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Though she wasn't gonna do nothing." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not sweating it." So, just take him into the other room, Reagan.
Come on.
So, anyway, I go home and I take a nap, and I take a nap in my parents' room. Well, a good 2 hours comes by. I was sleeping real good, and my brother comes inside. He wakes me up, and he's like, Renee, wake up. Ashlyn and her brother are outside wanting to fight you. And I'm like, what? Hold up. She really did come to my house? And I'm like, oh. So my dad was like, get up, put your shoes on. You know, I don't know what's about to happen, but if they're wanting to fight you, hi there. If they're wanting to fight you, then, you know, I'm an adult. I cannot touch these kids, but he said I didn't raise no punk. So, Bear, no, don't knock down my camera, no. So, Reagan, can you please get Bear?
Hey, that's my little dog. He is excited for me, that's all.
Okay, get him out, please.
Come on, Bear, you gotta go.
Thank you.
Don't fight.
Take him into the other room.
Come on, Bear, we gotta go to the, come on, Bear. Sorry, not sorry, Grandma.
Sorry, so many interruptions. I have no privacy.
Come on.
It goes to a picture.
So,
Bear, Reagan, stop.
So, I go outside. My brother comes outside with me, and I'm just standing there, and my grandparents are also here too. So I'm just standing outside, and I don't see her, and I'm like, well, what's going on? Like, where is she? Keep in mind, I just woke up from a nap. And they were like, hold up, she's coming. And then some of the other kids was like, she was talking something about that you said meet her at her house. I said, well, no, she told me to meet her at her house. And I said, no, I'm not coming to your house. So, you know, my dad was like, you know, after a while, I was about to go in the house. It's like, I'm not fixing to wait for this girl. This is nonsense. I'm fixing to go back inside. And I'm fixing to go back inside and go back to sleep. So, oh my gosh, sorry, camera. There's so many interruptions in this
You should never be messing with them.
I'm going to have to do the story time. I need to find a more quieter place to do the story time. So, hold on one second.
Laws saying they're trying to.
Just about damn near
Okay. This is so chaotic.
Just settle down, Reagan.
Okay, so I go outside and I finally see her, and she starts walking down the street. And so I'm just waiting, and my dad was like, okay, go down to the end of the driveway and wait for her. So,
Come here, boy. Move, dude. Stop.
y'all are so rude. Like, this is going on my YouTube channel. Y'all are being so rude. Oh my gosh. So, anyway, she comes down, and now she's in front of my driveway. And all my parents, all my family, my grandparents, my parents, and my brother were standing back. And then she brought her brother with her, and he was standing over there with some of the other kids. And then there was kids all around the neighborhood just standing on the sidewalk waiting for it to happen. I guess she was going around telling everybody. So the word had got around to all the kids in the neighborhood. Everybody was waiting for this to happen. So, you know, it happens, and so like she's standing in front of me, and she's like, well, throw the first punch. And I'm like, no, you throw the first punch. So we're just going back and forth saying, and I get tired of going back and forth with her. And I raised my hand, and then it happened so fast, you guys. Like, we start going at it, and then she's slinging me, and I'm slinging her, and I get slung in a big puddle of mud, and I don't have on my school shirt, but I have on my khaki pants, and y'all know khaki pants are beige, so I had mud all over my shoes, all over my pants, and so at first she kind of had me like bent over like this, and she was hitting my back and the back of my head. Well, I had to get up, and I just hear my parents saying, "Don't let her come to your house and disrespect you. You got to show her what it is." And then I hear her brother, "Ashley, get up, get up, get up, get up, Ashley." So, you know, we're just fighting, and I just hear it from both directions, and the kids are like, "Ooh, ooh." The kids around the neighborhood are just like, "Ooh, they're fighting. Oh, stop pulling hair and throw punches." You know, I was in the 6th grade. I'd never gotten into a fight before. Well, the next thing I know, I'm laying on the ground. Stop, Reagan. I'm laying on the ground, and I feel another person, and then I feel a kick to my back. And then I see another person. So when I get up and I'm actually able to see what's going on, her brother and her were both jumping me. And then when that happened, my brother jumped in, and he took care of her little brother, and he grabbed him off of me. And I saw them punching, like I saw them fighting, and next thing I know, the little boy runs home, and he's screaming, and he's like, "I'm gonna get my mama." And his face is like, not his face, but his nose was real bloody. And that's when, so once he had ran home, my brother had jumped in and started helping me. You know, once her brother jumped me, my brother had to jump in too. So my brother was fighting her, I was fighting her, she was fighting the both of us. Well, with the two of us, we get her on the ground, and sorry, we get her on the ground, and I just know my brother, he just starts yanking her braids, like pulling them real hard, and he's punching her, and I'm like, all right, that's enough. My brother's a lot smaller than me. He looks like he could be at this time he was in the 5th grade. He looked like he could be in the 1st or 2nd grade. He was very small, but he had hands for a little guy. So I'm like, wow. And he had gotten to plenty of fights. I don't fight. This is the very first real fight I ever been in. So
I got 2 songs and one is about French.
Stop, Reagan.
So about French.
After that,
French. Reagan,
please stop.
Okay. Look, let me do one.
Can I finish my video, please?
Yeah.
Disruptive brother. So, I hear like all the kids like, "Oh, her hair came out," and I'm like, I'm touching my head, making sure it's not me, and it wasn't. And I'm looking, and I see little strips of braids on the ground, and I'm like, so the fight is pretty much over. She ran home. You know, my dad picked me up, because at this point, I was so mad. I had got hit in the face. I had got kicked in the back. I had got kicked in the back of my head. I was very, very upset. So there was it was a lot of chaos. So after the fight, my dad just picked me up, and he's like, it's enough. Like, he broke it up at them. So she goes home. She calls the police. They come to her house first, and they come to my house, and they say, if another fight happens again, somebody's getting arrested. And they're just kids. They're in the 6th grade. Like, arrested for what? And he said, well, I'm talking about parents. And I was like, oh, over a little fight? I mean, well, this wasn't a little fight, but this turned out bad. So later on that night, my body was sore. My head, I had a knot in the back of my head where I had been kicked and punched. And like, it was bad. Like, that turned out real bad. over something so petty. So I'm just sitting in my house, just feeling played. You know, dinner comes around. My mom was like, "Baby, you all right? You okay?" I say, "Yeah, Mom, I'm fine." I just cannot believe all of this turned into this behind a boy walking me to class. Like, how did this even get to that? And she said, "Well, baby, you know, you're in middle school. You know, kids can be messy." I was like, "Yeah, I can obviously see that. You know, what's been going on past couple of days." So this video is long, but there will be a part 2 to this video, and that is when Tyresha comes in. I know some of my friends are watching this, and I know y'all been waiting on Tyresha. So when Tyresha comes in, that's gonna be when it gets real good. So y'all just stay tuned for that. This has been fun telling you guys the story. Sorry for all the disruptions. Comment, subscribe, hit the like button.